All right, good morning, guys. Welcome to the pre-market show. Happy Tuesday. Hope everybody had a great morning so far. Hope everybody had a great long weekend. I'm running solo today. Carlos had a big day yesterday, so bear with me. I'm kind of anticipating the market this morning since the futures opened yesterday. And this morning is just really kind of bobbed back and forth between slightly positive, slightly negative. Right now, the SPY is up, 0.17%. So just barely anything. There's not a whole lot going on today. Very few companies have reported. A couple reported this morning. I think Momo did this morning, and excuse my voice. I've been hoarse since last Thursday or Friday. It's slowly getting better. That's why I wasn't a part of it. So I'm going to start out, since I'm guessing that unless some kind of news comes in, things will probably be a little bit quiet. We can look at a couple of extra little things this morning. So one thing I always like to start out doing is looking at the economic calendar for the day. If you guys have any questions, feel free to chime in and ask them, because with the minimal gappers list and everything else, we should have time to go over some of them. If I start cutting them off, it's just because we'll start running out of time. So anyway, I always like to look at the economic calendar, either over the weekend or starting out the day, just to remind myself what's going on. These are all, this is the Fed chair, Jerome Powell, and these are all Fed presidents from different cities. I believe Bostic, for instance, is Atlanta, Harker, maybe Philly. Anyway, same thing today. We've got several, Fed people speaking at events, and then existing home sales come out at 10 a.m. Eastern. So that might move the markets a tiny bit at that time. And then, excuse me. So, a lot of people are still on vacation, away at their beach house or whatever. So let's see what we got going on today. Let's dive into these. So I've got Tesla and AMD up here already. I knew AMD was in place, so I didn't delete it from Friday. Let's add Momo, LX, see what's going on with these. So AMD, I think this is strictly on trade news. I'm actually kind of surprised AMD traded 1.1 million shares this morning already. Up 2.9, almost 3%, which is, AMD trades with the market generally. So let's see if we can find much of a difference between, it's trading, it should be in play today. One of the few days kind of where it's going solo. I think it's all on trade news. If it's somebody else, I didn't see any additional news. If somebody did, holler and let me know what you found, what you see. Momo had earnings released this morning. So Momo's a Chinese company. I know a lot of people have been swing trading this over the last year or so and had some pretty decent results both ways on it. But they released this morning. Volume's not terribly great at the moment, but we'll see. It's starting to pick up a little bit. I do like the pre-market. It's fairly smooth in here. We'll keep an eye on it. I've traded Momo before, and I wasn't a huge fan, but maybe it'll surprise me today. Vikram, I thank you. I don't know if that's enough to move anything or not. Is that conference today, Computex 2019? So Radames in YouTube is making a good point, and I apologize if I'm mispronouncing your name. Feel free to correct me if you can find a way to tell me to pronounce it better. But yeah, SPY, like Carlos and I have been discussing, SPY is between 280, 281-ish, let's say, and 294, which was the all-time high that we hit a few weeks ago. So I tweeted last night, it really needs to hold this 281 level, and if it can, I think we're in pretty decent shape just to be in a consolidation pattern with slow summer trading that's now officially here with the first day after Memorial Day. summers are generally light. They're generally slow. So you kind of got to understand that trading. And unless we get some kind of a catalyst in the general market, it can stay that way. Now, we've got that having been said, we've got plenty of things out there with, trade negotiations between U.S. and China, U.S. and Europe, and all that. And North Korea firing off missiles again, Brexit, and new leader in Britain, and all that. There could be a catalyst at some point that shakes us a little bit out of that summer doldrums. But for the moment, that's where we're sitting, and it looks like it's holding that level well. So it should be interesting. If it breaks that 280, we could go try to revisit what happened in fourth quarter. But I think a lot of people, a lot of retail investors on the side are kind of holding their money out, worried that they don't want to put it in like they would have, the first week of October, and then everything dropped by 20% over the next 3 months. So I think there's a little trepidation in that. Let's see here. We got TSS popped up. I thought I saw something else, but maybe it disappeared. Maybe it'll pop back up. So let's take a look here. We looked at Momo. Look, Momo's looking fairly clean. It really needs a little bit more volume, but it's still pretty early. And it's, like I said, day after holiday weekend. Probably be a little light and quiet. LX. Does anybody see any news on this? I couldn't find any on this one either. It's a Chinese financial fintech company. They had earnings on the 17th. Not seeing a lot there. If somebody sees something, let me know. Yeah, and then you mentioned, the president tweeting, and that's just the world we live in right now. Who knows if, it can always go one way or the other. That could be any day, no matter when it is. So this one's kind of garbage. I don't know what's going on here. There's a massive block trade. That's it. When we talk about block trades, so there's no action in this stock. There's nothing happening. You can see this one big block trade of 2 million shares so really only about 2,000 shares have been traded other than that. So not in play. We'll take LX off the list for sure. TSS, let me clear this out. Total System Services, that's up 4.9, 107,000 shares volume. Let's see, do they have news? Okay. Looks like a merger of some sort. So it's not trading like a buyout or a merger really, so we'll keep an eye on it. The spread is nasty though. It's a dollar spread, so I wouldn't trade that if it remains in that way. Let's see what else we got. Let me go through NASDAQ active and gainers. BIOC, we've had this one on the list. I mean, it's essentially a penny stock. I won't trade that one. AVDL, no volume, penny stock. MTFB, no volume. NCTY, it's got volume, it's low priced. I'll put it down here. We'll take a look at it, but it won't be something I'll trade. BMRN, I'll add that. We'll come back to it in a minute. We'll take a look at what you guys threw out in just a minute. SFET, no volume, garbage. SPCB, no volume, 87,000. Looks like it's probably a block trade in there somewhere, but I'm not going to look for it. VLRX, up 9%, 31,000 shares. What's the float on VLRX? 3 million. If we all pulled our money together, we could buy that company. That's how small it is, so I won't be trading that. Plug, on the volume. CJJD, nothing. WPRT, nothing. Right, LX we already have, BIOC we looked, AMD we have, QQQs, NASDAQ ETF, BMRN. BMRN. This is the one you were calling out. So, yeah, we'll definitely take a look at BMRN. It was in play last week, wasn't it? TVIX. It's a volatility ETF. Ericsson trades like garbage. We already know that, but we'll take a look anyway. Yep. Same Ericsson patterns. SQQQ, short NASDAQ ETF, 8 OTLK. OTLK has been in play quite a bit recently. It's not a low float. TI has it listed at 72 million shares, but I know it kind of trades like garbage, so I'll put it down here. We can take a look, but not my wheelhouse. What else? Roku. Roku I already have up here. We'll take a look at it because it's almost always in play these days. All right, let's see what you guys have. TVPT. Yeah, NEO. FCAU, we'll take a look. It's a foreign company, and it's really hard to trade. It very rarely ever trades cleanly, and it's on a merger. It's on merger news with Renault, so probably won't be in play. Sorry about that, but we can take a look at it anyway. NEO, I know it was either earnings or I think they had earnings this morning overnight. FCU. BA, of course, we know all that's going on with Boeing. SQ. AMD we already have. Okay, so that's what we got for the moment. Let's go down here. TVPT. It's got some nice order flow. Wow, this thing's... What's the news on this? Anybody know? It's a foreign company. The daily chart's not quite as nasty as most foreign companies. This is range-bound ugliness, but these last few days have been wildly in play. They reported Friday, I guess. Plans to go private, held up by Russian regulators. So we'll see. Maybe it will. We'll see. NEO, 2.3 million shares traded, somewhat flat right now. NEO, this thing was trading up closer to $10 not too long ago. IPO'd last fall. I know we've traded it off and on, so we'll take a look at it. FCAU. Yeah, this is FCAU's usual kind of pattern, and we can look at the daily and you see all these crazy gaps all over the place. That's why we don't usually, and even still, FCAU, their ATR is only 46 cents. So despite these massive gaps in their chart, it really doesn't trade very much. It doesn't move very much. It's very hard to trade. So I'll take that one off. If it hits the scanners or something later, maybe something will be different. Boeing, let me clear these levels. Of course, we all know what the news has been on Boeing. They came down, they bottomed out, kind of double bottom-ish in here, double, triple bottom. Came up, tested the 20 on the 1 day, the 20 daily moving average, touched 340 again, then bounced $17. So we'll keep an eye on it. It needs volume. Boeing rarely ever trades much in the pre-market, so that's part of that. All right, Shirley, I'll scroll up there and look in just a minute. We got plenty of time because there's not much on the gappers. I had Foot Locker, Rudy the Rock. I had Foot Locker earlier because it was left over, but there's just no volume. Sorry about that. We'll keep an eye on it. It'll probably hit the scanners if it does anything. So unless something happens and I think we're going to have enough to look at this morning. Let's see here. ATVI, I think EA too had an interesting daily. It has no volume right now, but we can look at it in a second. ATVI, this could be interesting later. Needs volume, but we'll leave it here. EA is not really doing much. I'd rather see if maybe ATVI does something. So I'm going to take a couple from Shirley. PAGS, IBM. PSX. PSX, ENPH. All right. PAGS. World. Zero volume, so we won't have this on our list. Just only traded 174 shares today. IBM. This looks like a foreign company. I'm not familiar with it. It's an Indian company. Yeah, so I won't trade this one. It's got 205,000 shares. Barely, it's up just shy of 1%. Daily is ugly, though. The pre-market's not pretty. One big block trade right there is most of it. Boston Scientific, this one was in play a lot several months ago. It's got only 1,300 shares traded, so no volume. ENPH, same, no volume. So take these off for now. Sorry, guys, if I go silent, you can tell I'm already starting to lose my voice. Uber has been in play. Beyond Meat might be as well. So I'm going to narrow this down here in just a minute. Vadim, we've already looked at all of those. Some I've left. AMD I've left. TVPT I've left, but the other two weren't looking so great. Beyond Meat, Uber. Obviously, both of these are fairly recent IPOs. Beyond Meat, we've got no shares for short, so I won't have it on just because of that. I'd like to be able to trade it both ways. Have a full quiver of strategies to be able to deploy, not just half of them. And then Uber, how many shares do we have to short? Sometimes it'll say this, and literally it had one share one time. So IB has plenty of shares. Keep an eye on Uber. And Tesla, yeah, I've got Tesla up here. We're going to look at Tesla in a minute. So I'm going to narrow these down, guys. Let's see here. BA is not enough volume and very hard to trade. NEO. I'll leave it on there. I likely won't trade it. As Travelport. It's interesting. It's got a ton of activity. BMRN. It's got pretty heavy order flow. TSS. Nothing going on here. That's an ugly pre-market chart. Delete that one. Momo, 200,000. We'll leave that for now. Okay. Like I said, I'm going to take the Beyond Meat off just because it's not shortable. I don't have any shares available. Yeah, we can take a look at IMU. I'm going to put it. IMU. It doesn't have any volume. It might pop up. I try not to have AMD and IMU on my list unless it's a really quiet day, just because a lot of times they trade in a similar fashion. AMD is really the standout today, gapping up over 3% and 1.3 million shares traded. And this is a nice, clean pre-market chart. So I'm going to leave this, and if MU pops up or if somebody calls it out, then I might look at it at that point. Okay, let's look at the stuff like Facebook won't be in play. It doesn't look like Apple could be. 120,000 shares, no gap right now though. Nvidia. Somebody tweeted me and asked me about NVIDIA this morning. So NVIDIA, we'll just take a look at this and we'll whittle down a little bit more and then go over some charts. So if you look at NVIDIA on a daily over the last 12 months or so, or 2 years even, so it had this steady grind up and it peaked out here 290-ish, fell down 124-ish, kind of double bottom before taking off to 190-ish. It could not get above this was at the 50 on it, I guess. Couldn't get above the moving average up here. So started to, no, it's the 200. Yeah, it stayed below that. 145, I mentioned I had it as a daily level, and I've got that right in there. It's kind of where we've settled the last couple of days. It'll be interesting to see. You can see it's a pretty clean level from here and from back here. So if it holds that, it might give a bounce and run. If it can't hold that, it might be a good short all the way down to test this low again, frankly. So it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting for sure. I don't know that it's going to do anything today, but the day that it breaks that level one way or the other, should be back in play again. Daddy Waddy, go for it. You're asking about dividends. Yeah, we don't really concern ourselves with dividends. SPY. Yeah, it's not that much. I don't know if somebody's some kind of news. Hey, ZZ Top, welcome back, man. Good to see you in the room again. Hope you're doing all right. Let's see here. Yeah, but that LX is one block trade of 2 million shares on LX. KL. Yeah, there's no volume on this at all. Canadian gold miner, I believe. So that won't be. Gold miners overall move pretty slow, but that one's got no volume on top of it. All right, Tesla will leave. AMD will leave. Momo really hasn't had much volume in the last few minutes here. I'll leave it for the moment, but it needs to get volume if it wants to stay. PRMN is looking okay. TVPT. What did we determine on this one? Was this this is the going private deal. I'm going to take that off because a lot of times they act like a merger. NEO, we'll put some levels on there. I probably won't trade it. Square still has no volume, so I'm going to take it off my list. ATVI, ugly pre-market, really no volume. I'll keep it. I'll keep an eye out for the scanners on that one. Uber, no volume. Nothing else has popped out. Beyond did, but we already took that off because there's no shares for short. Let's see here. All right. So let's get some levels in here on Tesla. Yeah, I've got Roku up there. We'll come back to it. We'll look at it. You know, Brian was calling out. He thinks this thing's trying to go for 100, and I don't disagree with him on that. So we'll come back and look at Roku as well. Tesla, all my levels are up here where they're way out of play. So we're going to have to look at a few different areas on here to get some levels going. 207. We've already got the level of the recent low here. I'm going to have to go back a ways to look at this. So if it breaks that 190 level, I want to see what's down here. It looks like 184.50-ish, and possibly down here to what's 180, essentially even number. And then to the upside, I'm going to say we're about 193-ish. And this is a pretty decent level here with several days around at 196. I mean, it can move those in one tick even. And then I'm going to put this up here too, just in case it really starts to pop. 212. Nothing in between. Well, it's already marking those levels around 200. Not a huge fan of trading Tesla, but maybe today will be different. AMD, let me clear these off. Yeah, TSS has, what was, no, TSS, I believe, was it a buyout? What was the news on TSS? Yeah, it's a merger. That's why we took it off. All right, AMD. Let's find some levels for our good buddy AMD. Looks like 29-ish. 2894, 2835-ish. Generally don't like having my levels that close together, but with AMD it can make sense. Level 24, I'm going to break that. That would be kind of crazy. See what we got in pre-market. $27.30. I'm going to move this up to the high of pre-market. And then we're going to put this, we've already got this level here, so that'll serve. Let's see here. Daddy Waddy, some other time we can talk about it. We're kind of running out of time here. I need to get levels on all these. All right, Momo. Had some levels from the past, but let's throw some on here. 3032. 3335. See what else I can find in here that's closer to the price of the downside. 2419, 291, and then a lot of these are already mixed in here with these recent daily levels, so we'll leave that one alone. BMRN. I apologize, guys. I know I'm rough to listen to this morning. My voice is completely, it's almost disappearing. I don't know if I'll even be able to be on the mic later in the room today. So BMRN gapping down 4%, although it's been both up. Oh, Jesus. Let's see here. So 90.54. Let's put this. That's essentially a whole number right there. So I'm going to place one right at 80, and then let's look at the pre-market on it, because we'll mark high and low pre-market. High of pre-market, 91.90. Mouse is too sensitive for this one right now. Close enough for me. 84.01. It's got a wide berth in there. That one looks like it could be crazy today. NIO, let's get back on the daily. Is this all-time low for NIO? Yeah, it looks like it. Recently. So let's get in here. All right, I'm gonna mark this 430, 458. We've got 521 already up there and some levels. Recent lows will serve for that, so I don't need to mark there. Then we'll mark high and low pre-market. Lower pre-market's already in those levels, so we'll leave that alone. And CTY, pre-market's garbage. I'm gonna take this off. OTLK. Yeah, I'm not a fan of this one either, but we'll mark a couple of levels just for the heck of it. This was the low float pump and dump stuff Carlos and I were talking about recently. Under $1, I'll be taking this off, but we'll mark 336 was this recent high, recent lows there. Mark pre-market. Yeah, I'm truly sorry about the voice, guys. If Carlos didn't have such a big life event going on yesterday, then he'd be here, and I probably wouldn't be on the mic, just like Friday. I took Friday off and tried not to talk a whole lot, but it hadn't helped yet. Okay, let's see here. So that's it for now. If you see something, else, throw it out there. TLK came up on the scanners. We'll take a look at that. The others we've looked at. How did this come up on the scanner? I don't even know how this came up on the scanner. It shouldn't be on there. So it's got no gap. Block trades are all its volume, so that's garbage. Yeah, I peeked at Foot Locker earlier. I might look at that because not the biggest list right now. Facebook's been in play a lot, but it hadn't the last week, let's say, but has shown almost zero pre-market activity. So I'll have my eye to see if Facebook can do something. Apple looks like it wants to try to do something in the 170s here. They could be greatly impacted by trade news. So if something comes out there, it can make a huge difference one way or the other. Nvidia, we already talked about this one. It's kind of at a daily consolidation level at 145. And my guess is it's going to sit here and then it's going to break one way or the other, and it could be a great swing trade or day trade once it gets out of this 145-ish range. And Roku, it's gapping down 1.1%, but that means very little. Brian was talking about this thing going to 100. Hey, good morning, Brian. So we'll keep an eye on Roku today for sure as well. Couple of announcements, guys. If you're watching on YouTube Satinder, welcome. Thank you for joining us. If you're joining us on YouTube and you've never been in the room where we trade live all day, come give us a shot if you'd like. You can use the promo code premarket24, no spaces, premarket and the numbers 24, and get the 2-week trial for $24. And it does not auto renew or anything like that. Then really some exciting, in June 22nd, Andrew's going to be speaking at the Modern Traders Summit in Montreal. Come join him if you'd like. There's going to be a meetup the day before in Montreal, so there's info on that on the forums. AB will post that. And then we've got we've got a new Ask Me Anything coming up. Brian and William will be presenting. That's going to be Saturday, June 1st at 11:30 a.m. Eastern. We're trying to do different times so people can come check it out. And then also voting on the setups for members. Go vote. Peter's posted the info. Cast your vote for the laptop. Don't vote for Andrews, even though I think he's winning. He's not in the running and he can't win. It's not an excuse just for him to get a new laptop. He does not need one. And then very exciting news. We are working to put together a North American meetup. We're thinking about doing it in mid to late October in Las Vegas. We would have 2 days of live trading. Carlos and I essentially do the pre-market show from there. Andrew would come in and live trade in front of everybody. After he shuts it down, his own trading, he can come do some one-on-one, trade reviews with whoever can trade, and all kinds of stuff. We'll do some, live classes and all kinds of things, guest speakers. So we're working on putting that together. I don't have a whole lot of new news. Things can change. But be sure to go into the forums. Peter, can you post that in the alert section so it'll stick up there? So, or ABL can, either way. So, go in there and be sure to gauge. We need to gauge interest to make sure people would go. So anyway, go check in that. Undetermined yet if it would be BBT members only or non-current members or people that aren't members would be able to join, but we'd love to see you guys. These meetups, and we got the idea, it's something we've thrown around a little bit, but Andrew and I were discussing it coming back from Austin to Dallas last week, and just, the amount of the great reception that we've gotten in both towns. And when we were in New York, people came in to see us and did the same thing for Dallas and Austin. So, we want to see if we can at least get a decent group and come out to Vegas for a few days Doug, exactly. Come out to Vegas for a few days. Yeah, going to Vegas to trade. So anyway, go in the forum and let's gauge interest, and we're working on it in the meantime. Anyway, I think that's about it for the YouTube live show. I'm going to go ahead and shut that down. So thank you for joining us. I apologize once again for my voice, but we will see you tomorrow morning back on YouTube Live. Take care, guys. Trade safe.